What if I told you that the decisions you make in your 20s could either set you up for a lifetime of wealth or trap you in a cycle of regret? Imagine waking up at 30, looking in the mirror, and realizing you've missed out on the most powerful years to build your fortune. That's a scary thought, isn't it? But here's the good news: you're not too late. In fact, you're exactly where you need to be, because today you're about to learn the 5 mistakes you absolutely must avoid if you want to live wealthy, not just wish for it. Let's be honest, your 20s are a crossroads. Every decision feels like a coin toss. Should you save your money or should you spend it? Should you invest in your future or just YOLO your way through endless brunches, festivals, and spontaneous trips? It's tempting to think you have all the time in the world, but the truth is, the habits you form right now are shaping your entire financial future. Most people don't realize the impact of these choices until it's too late, until they're looking back, wishing they'd done things differently. But here's the thing: you're not most people. You're here because you want to break the cycle. You want to make decisions that your future self will thank you for, not regret. And that's powerful, because while everyone else is busy living for the weekend, you're about to learn how to set yourself up for a lifetime of wealth and freedom. Mistake number 1: living beyond your means. Let's dive into the first mistake, one that's so common, it's practically a rite of passage in your 20s. Living beyond your means. Picture this: you land your first real job, and suddenly your bank account looks healthier than ever. You feel a rush of independence, a sense of arrival. Maybe you start thinking, "I deserve to treat myself." Before you know it, you're upgrading your phone, splurging on new clothes, and saying yes to every dinner invite. It feels good at first. But here's the harsh truth: this is the silent killer of wealth, and it's a trap that's so easy to fall into. Lifestyle inflation is sneaky. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small upgrades, a daily coffee run here, a new streaming subscription there. Then, as your income grows, so do your expenses. You move into a nicer apartment, buy a newer car, and suddenly your paycheck disappears as quickly as it arrives. It's almost like your bank account is playing a magic trick. Now you see it, now you don't. And the worst part, you barely notice it happening. But why is this so dangerous? Because every dollar you overspend now is a dollar you'll wish you had later. It's not just about missing out on savings, it's about missing out on opportunities. That money could have been invested, could have grown, could have given you freedom down the road. Instead, it's gone, spent on things that probably won't matter to you in a year or even a month. Let's pause for a second and ask, why do we fall into this trap? Part of it is social pressure. You see your friends posting about their latest purchases, their weekend getaways, their fancy dinners. It's easy to feel like you're missing out if you're not keeping up. Social media amplifies this pressure, making it seem like everyone is living their best life, except you. But here's the reality: most people are faking it. They're spending money they don't have to impress people who aren't even paying attention. Another reason is the "I'll start saving later" mindset. You tell yourself you'll get serious about money when you're older, when you're making more, when life slows down. But the truth is, habits form early. If you get used to spending everything you make now, it only gets harder to break that cycle later. The numbers might get bigger, but so do the temptations. And let's not forget about instant gratification. We live in a world where you can get almost anything delivered to your door in a matter of hours. The dopamine hit from a new purchase is real, but it's fleeting. What lasts is the stress of living paycheck to paycheck, the anxiety of not having a safety net, and the regret of missed opportunities. So how do you break free from this cycle? It starts with awareness. Track your spending for a month. Every dollar, every coffee, every late-night online order. You might be shocked at where your money is actually going. Once you see the patterns, you can start making intentional choices. Ask yourself, does this purchase bring me long-term value, or is it just a quick fix? Is it moving me closer to my goals or pulling me further away? Next, set boundaries for yourself. Create a budget that reflects your priorities, not just your desires. Automate your savings so you don't even have to think about it. Treat saving like a non-negotiable bill, something you pay before you spend on anything else. And don't be afraid to say no, even to yourself. Remember, every time you choose instant gratification, you're stealing from your future self. Here's a pattern interrupt for you. Have you ever noticed how your bank account is like a magician? 1 minute you're feeling rich, the next you're wondering where it all went. It's not magic, it's just math. And the sooner you take control, the sooner you can start building real wealth. Mistake number 2. Ignoring investing. Early, let's talk about a mistake that's almost invisible when you're young, but can haunt you for decades. Ignoring investing early. If you're in your 20s, you might think investing is something you'll get to someday. Maybe when you're making more money, or when you finally feel like a real adult. But here's the secret that most people don't realize until it's too late. Time is your greatest asset. The earlier you start, the less you actually have to invest to become a millionaire. It's not about how much you have right now, it's about how long you let your money grow. Imagine 2 friends, Alex and Taylor. Alex starts investing $100 a month at age 22. Taylor waits until 32 to start, but invests $200 a month, twice as much. By the time they both turn 60, Alex, who started earlier, will have more money, even though Taylor invested more each month. Why? Because Alex's money had more time to grow. That's the magic of compounding, and it's the closest thing to a financial superpower you'll ever have. But most people don't see it that way. They think, I'll start investing when I have more money, or I'll wait until I understand the stock market. The problem is, that day rarely comes. Life gets busy, expenses pile up, and before you know it, years have slipped by. The opportunity cost is massive, but it's almost invisible until you look back and realize what you've missed. Let's break the pattern for a second. If you think investing is just for old dudes in suits, think again. Even your grandma's cat could be earning compound interest right now. Seriously, investing isn't about being rich already. It's about getting rich over time. The magic is in starting early, even if it's just a small amount. So why do so many people put it off? For one, there's a lot of fear and confusion around investing. The stock market seems complicated, risky, and full of jargon. Maybe you've heard horror stories about people losing everything, or you've seen headlines about market crashes. It's easy to feel like you're better off just keeping your money in a savings account where it feels safe. But here's the truth. The real risk isn't losing money in the market, it's missing out on years of growth. Inflation quietly eats away at your savings, making your money worth less over time. Meanwhile, the people who start investing early, even with small amounts, are building wealth in the background, letting their money work for them while they sleep. Let's get practical. You don't need to be a financial genius to start investing. You don't need thousands of dollars, and you don't need to pick the next big tech stock. Thanks to technology, you can start with just a few dollars and a smartphone. There are apps and platforms that make it easy to buy index funds, ETFs, or even fractional shares of your favorite companies. The key is to start, no matter how small. Here's a quick exercise. Imagine you invest $50 a month starting at age 22, and you earn an average return of 7% per year. By the time you're 60, you'll have over $13,000 just from those small, consistent contributions. If you wait until 32 to start, you'll have less than half that amount, even if you invest the same $50 a month. That's the power of compounding, and it's why starting early matters so much. But let's be honest, investing can still feel intimidating. Maybe you're worried about making mistakes, or you don't know where to begin. That's normal. The important thing is to take the first step. Educate yourself, start small, and build the habit. Over time, you'll gain confidence, and your money will start working for you.
Mistake number 3, neglecting skill development. Part 1. Let's talk about a mistake that's easy to overlook, but can quietly sabotage your future: neglecting skill development. Your 20s are the prime time to invest in yourself, but so many people coast through these years, thinking their college degree is enough. Maybe you've heard it before: just get a diploma and you're set for life. But the world is changing faster than ever. The skills that pay today might be obsolete tomorrow. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. Think about it. Technology is evolving at lightning speed. Entire industries are being disrupted. Jobs that didn't exist 5 years ago are now some of the highest paying. Meanwhile, some traditional roles are disappearing altogether. If you're relying on what you learned in school to carry you through your entire career, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The truth is, the most successful people are lifelong learners. They're always curious, always adapting, always leveling up. But why do so many people stop learning after college? Part of it is burnout. After years of studying, exams, and late-night cramming, it's tempting to just relax and enjoy life. Another reason is comfort. Once you land a job, it's easy to settle into a routine and stop pushing yourself. But here's the reality. The world won't wait for you to catch up. If you're not actively building new skills, you're slowly becoming less valuable in the marketplace. Part 2. Let's hit pause for a second. Remember when flossing was just about dental hygiene? Now it's a dance move, a meme, and who knows what it'll be next year. Things change, and they change fast. The same goes for your career. The skills that are in demand today might be irrelevant tomorrow. If you're not paying attention, you could wake up one day and realize you've been left behind. So, what can you do about it? Start by embracing a growth mindset. Understand that learning doesn't stop when you leave the classroom. In fact, that's when the real education begins. Seek out opportunities to learn, whether it's taking an online course, reading books, attending workshops, or finding a mentor. The internet has made it easier than ever to access knowledge. There are countless free and affordable resources out there, covering everything from coding to public speaking to personal finance. But don't just focus on hard skills. Soft skills like communication, leadership, and emotional intelligence are just as important, sometimes even more so. Employers are looking for people who can adapt, collaborate, and solve problems creatively. These are the skills that will set you apart, no matter what industry you're in. Part 3. Here's a practical tip. Make learning a habit, not a chore. Set aside time each week to work on a new skill. It doesn't have to be hours every day. Even 20 minutes a few times a week can add up over time. Track your progress, celebrate your wins, and don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. The more you challenge yourself, the more you'll grow. And don't underestimate the power of networking when it comes to skill development. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who are ahead of you, who push you to be better. Join communities, attend events, and seek out mentors. The people you spend time with can have a huge impact on your growth. They can introduce you to new ideas, challenge your assumptions, and open doors you didn't even know existed. Let's break the pattern for a moment. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people always seem to be learning something new? They're not afraid to ask questions, to admit what they don't know, to start from scratch. That's not a weakness, it's a superpower. The willingness to learn is what separates those who thrive from those who just survive. Ending resolution. Part 1. So let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've just taken together. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people your age. You've learned about the 5 most common mistakes that can quietly sabotage your financial future. Mistakes that almost everyone makes, but that you now have the power to avoid. Think about that for a second. You're not just passively watching another video, you're actively investing in your future self. That's a decision that takes courage, vision, and a willingness to be different. Let's recap what we've covered. First, we talked about the dangers of living beyond your means. It's so easy to fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation, especially when you're surrounded by social media highlights and the pressure to keep up. But you now know that every dollar you save, every smart choice you make, is a step toward freedom. Not just for today, but for decades to come. Then, we dove into the importance of investing early. You learned that time is your greatest asset, and that even small amounts can grow into something extraordinary if you start now. You don't need to be rich to invest. You just need to be consistent and patient. The earlier you start, the less you have to do later. That's the magic of compounding. And it's a secret that the wealthy have used for generations. Part 2. Next, we explored the power of skill development. In a world that's changing faster than ever, standing still is the same as falling behind. The most successful people are always learning, always adapting, always pushing themselves to grow. Your 20s are the perfect time to experiment, to try new things, and to build a toolkit of skills that will serve you for life. Remember, every new skill is an investment in yourself, one that pays dividends no matter what happens in the economy or the job market. We also talked about the importance of building your network. It's not just about collecting business cards or adding people on LinkedIn. It's about forming genuine connections, finding mentors, and surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to be better. Opportunities rarely come from strangers. They come from relationships. The people you meet today could open doors for you years down the line in ways you can't even imagine right now. And finally, we confronted the silent saboteur of dreams, the fear of failure. Most people let fear dictate their choices, playing it safe and missing out on the life they truly want. But you now know that failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of growth. Every successful person has failed, probably more times than you've even tried. The only real failure is never starting at all. Part 3. Now here's where things get really exciting. What if I told you that everything you've learned so far is just the foundation? What if there's a way to take even the smallest steps you're making today and turn them into something truly life-changing? Here's the cliffhanger. There is a way. It's called the power of compounding, and it's the ultimate secret weapon of the wealthy. Compounding is what happens when your money starts making money for you. It's the snowball effect that turns small, consistent actions into massive results over time. It's why someone who starts investing just a few dollars a week in their 20s can end up with more wealth than someone who waits until their 30s or 40s, even if they invest more later on. Compounding doesn't just apply to money either. It works with skills, relationships, and habits. The earlier you start, the bigger the impact. But here's the catch. Compounding only works if you take action. Every day you wait is a day you can't get back. The urgency is real, and the opportunity is right in front of you. Don't let another year slip by while you wait for the perfect moment. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Part 4. So, what's your next step? If you're serious about building wealth, living a life of freedom and avoiding the mistakes that keep most people stuck, you need to understand how compounding works and how to make it work for you. That's why I've created a video that breaks down the power of compounding in simple, actionable steps. It's called The Power of Compounding: How to Make Your Money Work for You, and it's the next piece of the puzzle on your journey to financial freedom. Don't just watch and forget. Take action. Click on the video right here on the end screen, and let's unlock the secret weapon of the wealthy together. Your future self is counting on you. Don't let them down. Remember, your 20s are your launch pad. The choices you make now will echo for decades. Avoid these 5 mistakes. Embrace the power of compounding, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Your wealthy future starts now.